Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another episode reaction to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's right, my name is Matt. Hello. Okay, what's up, Buffy? Shenanigans, tomfoolery, nonsense, chaos, all traits of the Fate Show, which we've just randomly stumbled into last week. We were in the middle of the Initiative Adam arc, and then suddenly Faith came out, and now the whole show is about Faith again. It almost doesn't matter what happened that episode, but something that does matter is that at the very end, Faith took over Buffy's body. And then I just talked for like 30 minutes about like what that could become, right? And they were mostly not things that I was thinking about. I was like, oh, Faith is gonna ruin her life. And now, several days later, I have time to think about what could happen, and I still believe that that is the most likely thing to happen. Faith is just gonna ruin Buffy's life, like actively, and we might have some long-lasting repercussions. But something that I was thinking about that could happen, and I'm not saying it will, I'm just saying that it is on the table, is the possibility that this would get resolved in one episode, and there may not be that many lasting consequences, and Faith entering Buffy's body would mostly turn into a story about Faith learning what it's like to be Buffy and Buffy learning what it's like to be Faith. And it might turn into a storyline about, like, you know, learning about the other and what their struggles are, which would allow for greater understanding of each other, so they may not be as antagonistic towards one another. Like, put yourself in my shoes kind of thing. That could happen. That could be the story that we're going to tell today. However, I do believe that Faith is not going to care as much about understanding and more about how am I going to ruin her life. She could try to enjoy Buffy's life before destroying it, you know, just like Buffy has all these nice things, all these nice toys, and I'm gonna use them now because fuck her. I'm in control now, so this is my life now. So she might just take over and not even try to cause havoc, just like actually try to enjoy it. That could happen, but also Fate seemed pretty vindictive about Buffy, so she might just want to just like burn everything down. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, this Faith body switch arc is something that I wasn't expecting, and I don't know where it's gonna go. It could go a number of multiple places. It could just be this episode, or it could be the rest of the season. We're gonna follow a Buffy that's like in jail, trying to get back to her friends and try to convince them that she's good now, and the other Buffy is actually Faith is a body snatcher. Yeah, I don't know where this is gonna go. This episode could be really upsetting to watch. So let's see how it develops. But alright, let's just watch the episode now. Patreon, check out the Patreon link in the description below. Support the channel. You can watch the next 2 episode reactions to Buffy, as well as Angel watch-alongs, if you're into that. Actually, by the time you're watching this video, Buffy 418 should be on the Patreon already. And then after that, we're gonna enter the Angel arc again, where I'm gonna watch Angel episode 18 and 19. Yeah, so in the Patreon, the next 2 Buffy episodes, and then we're gonna get a couple Angel episodes in the future. So if you want to turn the Patreon and watch that, then there's gonna be plenty of stuff. But also just in general, there's Angel watch-alongs. I'm watching Angel on Patreon, just so you know. Okay, that said, let us begin. So, Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 4, Episode 16. Let's go. This is like nightmare shit.
She broke out of the hospital.
I just hope she gets some kind of help.
She regained consciousness enough to talk? No. No, she doesn't.
You guys will be safe now. We may have a couple of questions in the morning. I'm glad we finally got the kid.
She's not a kid.
I like that. She hyped herself up. Sarah Michelle Gellar as Faith.
Faith.
No.
Why do you think she's like that?
Yeah.
Well, you know, she's a nut job.
I just don't understand what could drive a person to that kind of behavior.
Well, how do you know she got drove? Maybe she likes being that way.
I'll never believe that. I think she's horribly unhappy.
I mean, a little stint in the pokey, show her the error of her ways. I'm sure there's some big old Bertha just waiting to shower her ripe little self with affection.
Buffy?
When I think about how she might have hurt you, I can't stand it.
This entire episode is just Faith rolling performance.
I've missed you.
Because I haven't visited, right? I knew it.
Oh my god, Faith. She immediately doesn't understand who Buffy is. She immediately started saying shit that she believes other people say about her. And then her mom was like, don't say that. Like, immediately. Because she perceives the world to be against her. But then, oh, turns out the world isn't against her. They're just responding to her own behavior. This is funny.
Why, yes, I would be Buffy. May I help you? You can't do that. It's wrong. You can't do that. Because it's naughty. Because it's wrong. Because it's wrong. You can't do that. It's wrong. I'll kick your ass. I'm gonna kill you.
Give me a sedative now. Hold her.
I have to go home. She's with my mother. She's taking my body.
Say crazy shit. If we're lucky, the gang will hear from the doctors. Yeah, she was saying some crazy shit. Like, she took my body.
Nobody knows you're here. They don't even know I exist, right? I know all about them, but...
Okay, so she's filling in a bunch of stuff.
Tara, it's not like I don't want my friends to know you. It's just kind of like having something that's just mine.
Kiss? Not
I
yet?
should check in with
Okay.
Giles. Get a situation update.
Every scene with these two.
I am, you know. Yours.
We're not even gonna go through an arc of like, am I gay? It's not even gonna happen. They're just gonna jump right to it, which I'm happy about.
10 a.m. earliest flight? I'll take it.
Oh, she's just leaving.
You don't mind if I steal this, right?
Is that the harlot? That's the same one Faith picked.
Burn it.
Where are they taking her? Is the... Yeah, people are interrupting. This is like the council or something. The people that were with Giles yesterday. Who are they?
By order of the Watchers Council, you are being
It is the
taken
council.
into custody.
Well, the thing about the council is... Well, I don't trust the council. But you could at least tell the council that she took my body. And somebody might believe you. Because they at least do know about the supernatural.
The gang's all here. Xander and... Everybody.
Unless I'm mistaken, Faith is no longer in police custody. The Watchers Council. They sent a retrieval team to capture Faith.
So...
So they're taking her to England.
It'll be a long, long time before she returns.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's just,
Oh my god.
I'm happy. Faith is evil.
Yeah, I hope they throw the book at her.
I forgot how much you don't like Faith.
After what she's done to you? Oh, I wish those council guys would let me have an hour alone in the room with her.
You were gonna light a bunch of candles and have sex near them.
Well, we
Good for
certainly
you.
don't want to cut into that 7 minutes.
Hey.
Lighten up. We're out of danger.
We still have Adam to take care of.
Yeah. Well, don't worry about it. I'll patrol tonight. As long as it takes. You guys have your fun. I'll be out there doing my job.
Party. Yep. He might just fuck some random. And it's gonna be bad because Riley's gonna be like, yeah. Sorry, Oh, Spike's here. What's up?
Oh, you.
Do I usually give you a hard time?
Oh my god, is she gonna fuck Spike?
Well, you don't have to worry about me drinking. But until then, I'm just as helpless as a kid in a tree. So why don't you sod off?
Okay.
Oh, fine. Throw it in my face. Spike's not a threat anymore. I'll turn my back. You can't hurt me. You know why I really hate you, Summers?
'Cause I'm a stuck-up tight ass with no sense of fun?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, that covers a lot of it.
They're gonna fuck.
'Cause I could do anything I want. Instead, I choose to pout and whine and feel the burden of slayerness.
Oh my god.
I could ride you at a gallop until your legs buckled and your eyes rolled up. I've got muscles you've never even dreamed of. I could squeeze you until you popped like warm champagne and you begged me to hurt you just a little bit more. And you know why I don't? Because it's wrong.
What is Spike gonna think
Just
about
chill
shit?
out. You and me are gonna have a confrontation.
Yeah.
Count on it.
He's like, what the fuck was that? Yep.
I've been thinking
Hi.
about vampires. You hide from them, crawl about in their filth, scavenging like rats. What do you fear?
Kill this guy already.
Look at him. He's huge and looks like the Terminator and Frankenstein and many things at the
I
same
know
time.
this.
I was going to say literally rip his head off, and then he did.
You fear death. Being immortal, you fear it more than those to whom it comes naturally. Vampires are a paradox. Demon in a human body. You walk in both worlds and belong to neither. I can relate. We have a lot to talk about.
Okay, he's getting a gang. He's getting a group together.
We're taking you back to the mother country. Seems you've been a naughty girl.
You could have taken her when she was in a coma, by the way.
I'm Buffy Summers. Faith performed some kind of spell. She switched our bodies.
Giles doesn't work for the council anymore.
Yep.
For that matter, neither does Buffy Summers. And what you are, miss, is the package. I deliver the package.
Alright, I see. They don't care.
He may not care, but I do. The Watchers Council used to mean something. You perverted it.
Ooh.
You trash. We should have killed you while you were asleep.
Why didn't you? Gross. They're gonna see Faith party. Oh boy. We're like 17 minutes into this episode. And like, I already don't want to watch this episode. I didn't say this. I said it would be a very upsetting episode to watch. But it would be very upsetting to me personally.
Hey, Buffy. Willow and Buffy, this is Tara. Hi. So we've never met.
Cool.
Tara was in my Wicker group. Uh-huh.
If she fucking kills Tara. Oh god, leaving them alone. This is real bad. God damn it. Don't ruin this for Tara.
So you guys been hanging out a lot lately, huh?
Yeah, she's really cool.
God.
So Willow's not driving stick anymore. I would have thought. And Oz is out of the picture? Oh, she just couldn't get enough of old Oz.
Oh my god.
She, said he,
What? You gonna get that sentence out sometime tonight?
Very upsetting.
vampire.
Wicked obvious. So I should slay him? You want help? Nah, I got it. Hey!
Right.
You'll live. Thank you.
Genuine thanks.
Thank you.
Acknowledgement.
Yeah. It's cool.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Just the not knowing what to do with that. I'm really upset about the Tara situation, by the way.
Are you gonna be in later, or are you going over to Riley's?
God damn it. Okay.
You unchain me very slowly and politely, or I kill this guy.
We always put our affairs in order first, in case of accident.
They don't care.
Sorry, Smithy.
Oh god. God damn it, this episode. We're halfway through. I don't want to watch it anymore. I wanted to give up 5 minutes in.
I'm sorry you're feeling all bloody, but we'll get together with Buffy another time. Sometime soon. I think you'll really like her.
No, she won't. Not this Buffy.
She's not your friend.
Yeah. The kind of shit that she said is...
I don't think she's her.
Oh, she can feel it?
Energy has a flow, a unity. Buffy's was fragmented. It grated, like something forced in where it doesn't belong.
She has been acting weird.
Like she's been possessed or something? You didn't sense a hyena energy at all, did you? Because hyena possession is just unpleasant. I think there's a way we can...
I love
It's a
that...
passage to the nether realm.
The Nether Realm? My favorite game studio. Makes my favorite fighting games.
I'd have to be your anchor. Keep you on this plane. I trust you. It's not like anything that we've ever... I trust you.
You miss me?
Oh god, I want to keep watching the Tara scene. I don't want to keep watching Faith in Buffy's body. I would be cool if everything here happened off screen and I didn't get to see it.
So I don't have to worry about Faith showing up.
Oh, you wouldn't have liked Faith. She's not proper and joyless like a girl should be. So,
I do think it's likely she'll kill him, but she's gonna fuck him before she ever does. That's for sure, so...
am I a bad girl? Do you want to hurt me?
What are we playing at here?
I'm Buffy.
Okay, then I'll be Riley.
Good. We established our roles.
I don't want to play.
Tenderness. I trust Sarah. I do. Oh yeah, what I wanted to say earlier. I love that Tara didn't just turn into a sob story of like she was mean to me. She just straight up went, no, I think she's not herself. I think she's being possessed. It's most welcome. I love Tara. I'm all in for her being more important. But also, please don't die. This is good. I'm a big fan of how every spell we do has to have us hold hands. Is this just... That just really looked like a metaphor for sex. And this is like the third one we've had already. I think this is the most non-subtle one. She looks really uncomfortable.
I love you.
All of this genuine affection. Yeah, no.
No, get off. No, off me. Get off.
Buffy. What?
What do you want from her? This is meaningless.
You're shaking.
Interesting choice of words.
What happened?
Nothing.
Face obscures. That was really interesting. How she was like, what do you want from her? Like, she doesn't believe that anyone would ever give tenderness or kindness or love if it's not for some kind of ulterior motive.
But it's time to face your fear. You are here to be my first, to let them know that I am coming. What is it? More than man, more than anything else. What is the thing you fear?
Boy's supposed to be on the mend. I don't see you letting him get much rest.
I think maybe you should stay out of other people's lives.
We've got a mission here. And back when Riley could still think for himself.
You got a mission?
I hate these
I've
two
been told
interacting.
before you could shave.
Yeah, you're a killer.
I am not a killer. And you don't know the first thing about me.
You really care what I think?
No. I don't care. God, I don't care.
Oh, she cares. She doesn't want to care, but she does. Okay, that wasn't the worst interaction in the world. Okay, cool.
Please.
Does Buffy know how to drive? We've seen her like try to take a test before, didn't we? Like seasons ago. She's gonna go and try to take the flight. Okay, so this is gonna get solved within this episode. Otherwise, this goes way too off the rails.
Giles!
Go.
Don't move. Okay, Giles. You have to listen to me very carefully. I'm not Faith.
Really?
I know, Giles. You just have to stop inching. You were inching.
She talks like
I know
Buffy.
what you're going to say, and
I'm Buffy.
all right, I didn't know what you were going to say, but that doesn't make you any less crazy.
I mean, she had some device. She switched our bodies. Ask me anything.
Who's president?
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
Giles, you turned into a demon, and I knew it was you.
How did I turn into a demon?
Oh, 'cause Ethan Rain.
Yep.
And you have a girlfriend named Olivia, and you haven't had a job since we blew up the school, which is valid, lifestyle-wise. Oh, when I had psychic power, I heard my mom think that you were like a stevedore during sex. Do you want to continue?
Actually, I beg you to stop.
What's a stevedore?
Let's...
Giles! Will. Oh, my God. Willow, wait. You don't understand.
You're
She
Buffy.
knows.
You and Faith switch bodies, probably through a draconian Contra spell.
Okay, so lesbian sex work. They know.
Tara, this is Buffy. Only, really, this time.
This is a weird first time to be meeting.
She knew right away that you weren't you. So,
Fucking
so
love
we
Tara.
connected with the nether realms to find out what happened. And we conjured this. If you can get a hold of Faith.
Oh, cool. We have a device that will solve the problem.
And barricaded themselves in the church with at least 20 parishioners.
Adam?
One of the few who escaped described the three men as frighteningly disfigured. There is no report of the condition of the parishioners still trapped inside, but their assailants have vowed to kill all of them if police attempt to storm the church.
Okay.
I've been avoiding this place for so many years, and it's nothing.
This feels like he was asking them, what do you fear the most?
I was so afraid of.
Yeah, they're facing their fears.
You know?
He's like a cult leader, a political leader. He's getting followers and he's trying to coach them.
Buffy, wait for the troops to get here. They're still mobilizing.
How did you respond so fast?
I didn't. I was just late for church.
I'm Buffy. I have to do this.
Why did she come back?
Someone comes out, you get them to safety. Unless they've got fangs.
Is this just Faith's hero skull realizing that she actually doesn't want those people to die?
You're not gonna kill these people.
Why not?
Because it's wrong.
I have stuff to say about that line. That felt like a genuine line, not an act, which I really like. Fight. We go. Okay, the people are leaving. That's one down. If anyone runs away, this guy's running away. Oh god. Isn't sunlight? Cool.
Riley!
It's okay, miss. Get yourself out of harm's way.
Riley, it's me. Never mind. How many are in there?
Adam has shown me the way, and there is nothing.
Hi. Okay, we're fighting immediately. It's weird because they both kind of want to meet in the middle, but the moment that they see each other, they just start fighting. I mean, they have issues with each other as a person, but not so much in terms of ideology or how they feel.
Nothing. Disgusting. Murderous. Bitch, you're nothing.
There's something poetic about this. Doing this to herself. It worked. Okay. I really like how she was talking to herself when she did that. Oh, the lowest self-hatred. God, I love Faith as a character. She's so fucked up.
How could she have... I mean, how's it possible?
We have a bunch of magical items and shit in the world. Don't worry about it.
I should have just...
You slept with her.
Yep.
I don't think she's coming back.
I guess she's had her fun.
Yeah.
Could she feel that... Oh, I like that shot. Cool transition. When they body switch, she grabbed like her chest. Could she feel Fate's pain? I feel like that she did. Okay, the episode ended. I like that. Cool. I like the second half of that episode. Alright, that episode was very upsetting to watch at first, and then it got really good near the end. So I'm happy about that. It ended up nicely. Because I said at the beginning of the episode that this is how I would feel about it potentially, and I did. Because there's just something so... I don't know what gets me. I probably mentioned this in another Buffy episode. I don't remember which one, but I feel like I talked about it. Something that is a personal thing about me that gets me is whenever you're in a situation where you are in the right, you know you're in the right, and people that are supposed to implicitly trust you don't trust you, and they are in fact against you. That is a kind of story that happens in media a lot. And every time for me, that's like poison. That's like, I would be okay skipping this episode, almost, you know? So, in this situation where Faith keeps defiling Buffy's life, everybody looks at her awkwardly. They don't know what the fuck she's saying or why she's acting that way. Like, in my head, I'm feeling the future of Buffy trying to explain herself and nobody believing her, nobody trusting her. And like that immediately, like that already hurts me, even though that scene hasn't happened. And the moment that Tara went, I don't think that was Buffy. I could sense it. That's when I finally was able to exhale. I was like, oh, thank God. We don't have to do this bullshit. Oh God, Tara's gonna save us all. So that was really good. I was really happy about that. Thank you, Tara. And then also we had that scene with Buffy in Faith's body and Giles. And Buffy just said so many things that were so Buffy that Giles was like, okay, I get you. So this episode did actually end up being more about what I said at the beginning of this video. It wasn't as much about Faith wrecking Buffy's life, even though she tried, but it was more about Faith learning what Buffy's life is like, and also a little bit of a hint of like how she feels about herself. Faith is so fucking interesting. Faith is the most interesting character in this goddamn show. I'm so glad she's here. Whenever she's just like beating Buffy in Faith's body, she's like punching her own body, and she's saying things that she thinks Buffy thinks about Faith, But she has learned since in this episode that that's not true because other people don't feel that way. They don't talk about Faith like that behind her back. Sometimes they do, but generally they don't see Faith as fundamentally evil or fundamentally wrong or a mistake. They see Faith as somebody who makes bad choices, which she does. And Faith understands that because as she's beating her and punching her own body down, she keeps calling herself a mistake. And it is very poetic in a way of like, Faith wishes she could just throw herself away, ditch her own being away, and start over. And that is precisely what this episode was. She was like, oh, thank God I don't have to be Faith anymore. Because she thinks that Faith is fundamentally unlikable. But she realizes on some level that that's not because of her, but because of her choices. And she wishes she could undo all of that, just ditch that away, throw it onto somebody else, and then I'll just be myself and I can just do whatever I want. Ah, that's good. That's good stuff. And I do like that there was a moment there at the very end, like where after they switch, Body like held her own chest, and she had this face of like God, and I have to assume that there's some like magical stuff that happened in the switch where they could sense or feel each other, and Buffy felt the disdain that Faith had for herself and maybe the jealousy that she had for Buffy. So there is a level of pity maybe going for Faith. Okay, so the first half of the episode was interesting because so many scenes were upsetting to me, but then also I learned a lot because immediately the first thing that happens in the episode is Faith talks to Joyce, and she immediately starts mouthing Faith, and Joyce is like, don't say those things. Like, Joyce says, like, why do you think she's like that? And she's like, well, she suffered from things that made her be like this, and what do you think that was? And Faith is just like, wait, you think that is something, do you think that she's a result of something and not that she's just wrong? And Joyce is like, yeah, I don't believe that people are, well, she didn't say that, but she said, I'll never believe that. I'll never believe that she's just like that. She is a product of her life, of her situation, of her actions. It's not that she was born like this. It's that she is a product of the environment around her. And that immediately makes Faith just not understand. Immediately she's on the back foot. And I love that. Because I was under the impression that this episode could be just Faith being on, like, how do you say that? Like, I guess on the front foot. She was ahead of everybody and she was just fucking shit up. She was at the top of the world. She was just doing whatever the fuck she wanted. She would just ruin Buffy's life, and it's like, hell yeah, I don't have to worry about consequences. Buffy does. But instead, the episode started and immediately she's like, I don't get it. She's immediately like, I thought that everybody in this side of the story hated me. They talk shit about me. They hate me. They think I'm awful. And you know what? Fuck those people. You know, they're all wrong and awful and terrible, and I hate them because, you know, they want me to be a bad bitch. I'm going to be a bad bitch. But then immediately she realizes that the people on this side of the story, you know, Joyce and then, you know, the rest of the crew, they don't hate Faith. They don't see Faith as someone that's fundamentally evil. They are just responding to Faith's actions. Like, she even asked Willow, and I don't remember what she said, but she said something like, you must really hate her, huh? And Willow responded with, well, after she did all of that stuff to you. Which means that she doesn't hate Faith implicitly, which is what Faith believes. Faith is learning that people don't just dislike her or think ill of her. People are directly responding to Faith's choices because she is a danger to them, and that's the only reason why they treat Faith the way they do. And it's great because all of this is just perfectly on track with what happened in season 3. In season 3, Faith just fundamentally didn't believe that people could see her as something, as a friend, as someone that could fit in, as someone that could be part of the gang. somebody that could be likable, loved, acknowledged in any way. So there is the scene that she had with Riley where Faith immediately goes like, okay, let's fuck, I'm gonna be bad or whatever. And Riley, he's a good boy, and like, first of all, he like brings her down, like closes the door and stuff. But then when they have sex, like I do like that Faith said, let's have fun, and Riley like pushed her back a little bit and started caressing her and was like, this is not for fun, this is not my fun, you know. And it was a moment of tenderness, and I'm like, Faith doesn't get that. Faith doesn't understand what that is. And then after, well, during even the sex, she just started freaking out and panicking. He said, I love you, and she just immediately like panicked. She was like, I like what she said. What was it? It was like, what are you doing to her? Which, it's a crazy thing to say. But it's also an incredible choice for a dialogue. Like, this episode was almost like a theater drama of like characters are just showing raw emotion, even though I'm like, why would you say that? But it's like, it makes perfect sense for what the scene is trying to tell me on an emotional level of what is happening with Faith. And Faith just doesn't believe that somebody could give that kindness, that love. And when Riley does it, her reaction is to, first of all, run away, not trust them, and get it. She said, what are you doing to her? Which means that she believed that Riley was not only a bad person that had ulterior motives, but she even had a moment where she was like worried for Buffy because she so not believed that other people could be kind. So Riley must be a bad person. But saying what are you doing to her implies a level of care for Buffy. Not even to me, to her. That is so weird in that scene. You are the only two people in the room. But she's like dissociating from her own body because she's not in her own body. So she doesn't see herself as part of this scene. She's just in it, and she's like, what's happening? Like, I don't get it. This episode fed me. This episode fed me with the amount of Fate stuff in it. I'm in my element, by the way. Like, I don't know if you can tell by this point. I don't know how many videos of mine you've watched. But, like, my element is, like, trying to figure out, like, people, like, characters. It's not so much trying to, like, oh, where is the plot is gonna go. Well, I also do that. But I mostly really give a shit whenever I have a character I want to just... I want to pick her brain apart. Just like, what is happening here? And that's just right. But just like, again, because Fate is a product of environment. Fate is a product of situation. Because there is no inherent evil. So like an episode like this, I'm sitting here and it's like the most interesting thing in the world to me. To see all of this happen, and I'm just sitting here like, let's have a Faith for 40 minutes again. This was the reason why I love season 3 so much. I'm so happy we're back here with Faith in season 4. Although she might just run away now. She might run away and disappear until maybe next season. Maybe we don't have to care about what goes on with Faith anymore. She's just gonna be a loose end that is gonna come back in the future, and I could be down for that. I could keep Faith in the pocket, you know, pull her out whenever there's a good story you want to tell. I'm fine with that, but I just love whenever she's on screen. Let me watch this scene again. She's punching herself and going, "You're nothing, disgusting, murderous bitch. You're nothing. You're disgusting." Like, the moment where she stopped punching and she just grabbed herself by her hair and just started shaking her, "You're disgusting." It's like, oh my god, that's not even subtle. It's just like, she just hates herself so much. Because she recognizes, maybe not on a cognitive level, on a conscious level. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't, I don't know. About that, like, the reason why Faith is in the situation that she's in is because of her choices. Followed immediately by the same choice. Because as soon as Buffy body swaps back, Faith runs away. And it's so... like, because, okay, dialing back like a second. Faith was in the airport. She was just ready to fucking go. And then she came back because she saw that in the church there were a bunch of murders and hostage situation happening. And I was like, why would Faith care? And I guess the reason why she cared, well, first of all, because the plot needed to happen, right? This is the story they wanted to tell. But I think it's because for the first like half or 2/3 of the episode, she spent enough time interacting with the people around Buffy's life to know what Buffy is like. Realized that her vision, that her image of Buffy and the people around her and how they feel about her is wrong. So, and there was that scene where she talked to, I think his name is Forrest, right? People told me that his name was Forrest, the guy that I hate, that is Riles' friend. But there was a moment where he said like, "So you don't care?" And then she was like, you know what? No, I don't care. I don't care. And then she just left. And it was that I don't care that implies that you care, right? That tells you that you care and you're trying not to, but you do. And it's awesome to have Faith being so what's happening is that Faith spends this episode is in a situation where she is experiencing life through the lens of a different person. She gets to not be Faith and not be a result of her own mistakes for once. And now that she's experiencing what that life is like, having people that are caring and kind and giving and understanding around you, she's starting to realize that maybe Buffy's not the problem. Maybe Buffy and those people around her are not a problem. They are just normal. And Faith is in a bad spot. But that doesn't imply that Faith is bad herself, just as she's very unlucky. And when she's seeing those people be hurt in the airport, she thinks to herself, I have to do something. Because she cannot pretend to not care anymore. She does. And there was that scene earlier in the episode too where she didn't care about that vampire or whatever, but then when she went and saved that woman was just like, oh my god, thank you. And she's like, yeah, it's cool. And she was like, I don't remember how the scene went, but it was that very like somebody is giving genuine thanks and a genuine affection, appreciation. And you don't know what that's like because no one has ever done that for you. So now Faith is like, yeah, and just leaves. And I think that was a moment of realizing of like, are people like this normally? Do people do this? Do people like care about one another and show it? Because her image of the world has been that people don't, and if they say that they do, then they're lying for some kind of ulterior motive or in order to like control you or make fun of you, which is what she believes her relationship was with Buffy. Turns out it's not like that, and now she's having a character crisis. The way she sees the world is fundamentally mistaken. So by the end of the episode, she cares at least enough to say, you know what, I'm gonna go fight those vampires, because there's a bunch of people that are gonna get murdered. And when I saw that woman's eyes looking at me and she was so afraid and she thanked me and it was so genuine, that's when now I saw a moment of like, I can't just let that happen, I have to get in and do something. And I do love that, and this is it's not super subtle, but it's subtle enough that maybe people didn't pick up on this. But earlier in the episode, Faith was looking into a mirror and going like, you can't do that because that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. She's like playing the character that she believes Buffy is. And it's this idea of like, Buffy is a stuck up, but also she's a liar. And her performance of like, that's wrong. It's like, is not genuine because she doesn't give a shit. She's just trying to pretend that she does, but she doesn't. She just wants to control you. She's just playing off that performance as a mockery of Buffy. But then near the end of the episode, when she comes to the church, they ask her like, why are you here? And she's like, because that's wrong. And that was a moment of, I love that line because it connects back to the original. It's like, early in the episode, she was mocking the idea that somebody would do something for good, because good doesn't exist. It's just a sham. It's a facade. But then at the end of the episode, she kind of realized that people actually do give a shit. And now, maybe she doesn't even realize that, but she starts to care, and she cares, and she comes in, and she says, I can't let you do that because that's wrong. And it's like, yep, there you go. Like, and that's why it was so good whenever Buffy showed up, and then they just started fighting each other again. And it was like, you're both meeting in the same spot. Like, metaphorically and also literally. You're meeting in the same location because you both came here to help people. They both saved those people. They both did. And they both care enough to do so. But then the moment they see each other, it's like, we're fighting. And that makes... And it's like, of course, if you were Buffy, you would be fighting Faith. Look at what Faith did. Not just now, but also last year. Like, Faith is just gonna fuck your shit up. She's gonna ruin your life. But Faith is reaching a moment where she's starting to understand that her views on the world maybe are a little bit wrong and misplaced. And now she's starting to feel like, I care and I can help people, which is just be friends. Just be friends. Just talk and be normal. Because now in this episode, as we saw in the end, they both they managed to meet up in the same spot. They managed to both get to a place where they both like, yeah, I want to help people, let's slay these monsters. But Faith instead, once again, chose to run away. Because Faith keeps making mistakes, and she hates herself for it. She does. And again, you have to remember that all this did start, it didn't start, but it definitely snowballed when she killed that guy previous season, that random white guy that came, the mayor's assistant that came in with like the envelope. And Faith was good until then. You know, she was still like the bad girl kind of thing, but she was helping us out until that moment. And then when that happened, she started to have such a crisis. And the only way that she could find to cope with that was to say, well, you know, the entire world is evil and they're all fucked up anyway. And I wasn't wrong in doing that because, you know, like that's, it's not my fault. And now she's starting to understand that her coping mechanism that she's been using so far does not fully make sense. Love that. I'm also thinking about like Faith's perspective. And it has to be wild because it's like, Faith lived season 3, and then she missed the final episode, and then she woke up last episode, right? Like there is a 15 episode time skip that happened between last time we saw Faith and now, which means that Faith doesn't really have, like, Faith has like skip time, missing time. Like Faith has a moment in time where she didn't get to grow or change or learn or see anything at all. So the Faith that we saw at the near the end of the last season is the exact same Faith we come into, and now she's forced to learn all about what's happening and how anyone feels. And that's really interesting. I like that. God, I've been talking about Faith for half an hour, and it's good. It's good shit. You know what else is good shit? Tara. Tara came in clutch. And I do have to say though, I think this is the episode where I think I can confidently say, and it's partially because of a comment that I read. I didn't read too many comments, but I read this one where like the episode 3 episodes ago, I said something along the lines of like, well, we might see something like Willow going through an arc of self-discovery of like, do I really swing that way? You know, am I gay? Am I bisexual? Like, and that was gonna be like a crisis episode for like one episode, because that is a very teen drama thing to have. And Buffy does do similar shit to that. This show is very teen drama. So I saw that as like, oh, this did absolutely happen. And somebody was like, you're not paying attention if you think that's what's happening. And I'm like, that's rude to say. That's very rude to say. I do notice that they're banging practically every scene through a magic filter. I do understand that. They're doing this, and they're both just like talking to each other in the most sensual way for some reason. But this episode was the least subtle of them all, to the point that they were practically banging, and then it cut away to Buffy and Riley banging. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly the same thing. You know, they were interlocking hands. They were both sweating just straight up sweating. And then Willow laid on the floor very sensually because she went into a trance and passed out or whatever. But she laid on the ground very sensually. And then she did this. And then, and you don't get to see the bottom half of her body when she does that, by the way. Like, that is very deliberate. That is just like, oh yeah, she's getting her pussy eaten. That's what that's supposed to look like. That's not what happened. But that's what that looks like. And it is not the first scene we've had where Willow and Tara look like that. Every scene where they're together, everything that they say to each other feels like, oh, they're fucking. You know, like that Pro CD video, oh, they fucking.
Oh, they fucking!
But it's difficult to tell, like, how much of that is going to translate into an arc where they finally make it real and they both are cool with that, they have to realize that, or are we just transitioning into a relationship immediately, which it looks like that is the case, which I'm happy about because that is my preferred method. I would rather not have an episode where we try to explore that and how anyone feels. I like to have an episode where it's just like, hey, I think, are we together? And it's like, do you want to be? Like that's fun to me. I don't want to have the teenage drama of talking to your best friend and it's like, I think I really like her. It's like, that's not too fun for me. And not so much a trope, but it is also something that happens in real life where you'll see testimonials of people not realizing that they accidentally stumbled into a gay relationship because they were too afraid to ask and the other person just assumed that was the case. So they both just go for like 5 years and it's like, yeah, I live with my best friend and we bang all the time, but like, I don't know if this is a real thing or not. And then you'll bring it up and your partner is like, just starts laughing. Like, bitch, what do you think this was? Like, that kind of shit happens in real life. So I could see that happening to Willow. Willow is the kind of character where I feel like that could happen to. Getting sidetracked here. The point here being is that I fucking love Tara because Tara really, because whenever Buffy was talking to Tara, I hated that interaction. I hated it so much. It made me feel so bad because I care about Tara. I really do. I like Tara a lot. And also I care about Buffy's image and how Buffy's not going to be able to explain this later. And I'm like seeing this, her life fall apart. And I'm like, I want to rip my hair out. It's like, I hate that. But then Tara walks in and she tells Willow, that wasn't Buffy. That was a different person. And I'm like, she just saved the episode for me. She just made me feel so good. And it's just like, God, Tara, you're awesome. I fucking love Tara. Tara is that weird, quiet kid that really wants to be with this girl that she likes, but she doesn't know. But she's absolutely willing, 100%. She's dying of thirst. Like, Willow says, like, oh, I would want to introduce you to the group, but I like having something that's mine, And then she's like, I'm yours, It's like, oh my God, girl. Like, that level of thirst, I am a big fan of. I really am. The same thing happened with Anya. I really like Tara. I really like Tara. I really like how much she desires to be with Willow, but I also love how inept she is socially. Like, every scene with Tara is just, she like shyly gets into screen, talk to Willow, and Willow is like, oh yeah, that would be cool. And then she's like, awesome, yeah, let's do that tonight, yeah. And it's so cute. I love that. But what we saw in this episode is that Tara is actually very much capable. And I love that because I would have hated if Tara went back home and she was like, that Buffy was a bad person. She, maybe not even that. Maybe not even tell Willow that. She would just start hating herself and start doubting her relationship with Willow. And I'm like, I would have hated that. I would have just made me feel very unhappy. But then it's like, no, she's immediately like into it. She's like, that wasn't Buffy. There's some bullshit magic going on. We need to figure this out. And then they started having lesbian sex through the filter of magic. And it's like, perfect. God, Tara is awesome. Fuck Oz. All my homies hate Oz. Anyway, other movements in this episode. The council came here and they tried to take Faith and kill her. Well, deliver her and kill her, or just kill her. And Buffy escaped, and it's like, cool. So okay, that's gonna be a thing then. Like in the future, whenever we see Faith again, the council might be involved as well. They're gonna be like, Faith is on the run from the cops and from the council. And honestly, when the council was like, we should have fucking killed you when you were in a coma, and it's like, yeah, why didn't you? Like, that's what I thought you would do. I said that last season. At the end of last season, I was like, she's in a coma, and I'm like, well, they're gonna either take her away or just fucking stab her in her sleep and get a new Slayer, because this one is problematic, and that's how the council works. And now I'm watching this, and I'm like, why did they wait for her to be in a, like, the council doesn't operate in like the law system, right? Even in this episode, they fucking broke her from the cop car. They just ran into that car and they broke her out. So I'm thinking, like, why didn't they just kidnap her? If they didn't want to kill her, just kidnap her while she's asleep and take her to the Watchers Council. Like, why, like, I don't know. Maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe there is not. It's just the thing that they need to do for this episode. But it's like, you could have just stole that girl when she was asleep. That you could have absolutely done that. I don't know why you would have to go through this entire situation here. Maybe they were like, well, when she's asleep, we cannot ask her to do anything. But like, you can ask her when she wakes up, maybe. Maybe the council doesn't have medical facilities on deck. And they were like, well, she might just die while she's asleep. So we're going to leave her in a hospital in America instead of taking her. Like, the council has connections. They do. I know they do. So they should be able to take her to one of their hospitals or something. Anyway, doesn't matter. The lesbian went to another realm. Fun. I wonder if they met with Scorpion or Quan Chi. Maybe even Noob Saibon. Adam is grabbing these vampires and asking them what they fear. And Adam is starting to feel like a cult leader. He's starting to feel like a political leader or something, like somebody who has the charisma and asks the philosophical questions in order to spur something in his followers. So that's interesting. And like then, like, yeah, the whole church fight, it was these vampires being like facing their fears. When there was a vampire that started running away, I mean, he got killed by Sunlight, by Riley. But when that vampire started running away, I was like, he's gonna run away and Adam is gonna kill him, because he's gonna be like, you run away from what you were afraid the most. You're useless to me. Some stuff like that. Or like, you failed in achieving perfection. I don't fucking know what he's after. But that is interesting to me. I do want to see where that goes now. I don't know what else to talk about. I just want to talk about Faith, but like, I think I said everything or most of everything of what I wanted to say about Faith within this episode, but I am ready to say more shit about Faith as soon as she shows up again. There was that moment where she started like confronting Spike, and she was establishing dominance and Slam flirting with Spike. And Spike was so angry. He was like, fuck! Because like, while that scene was happening, I was kind of doing reaction face. I was like this. And it was because I kept thinking about like, what is Spike's reaction gonna be to this? And then as soon as it was over, Spike got so angry. And I'm like, yeah, because like, he hates her so much. To Spike, that was a taunt, like the most insulting taunt in the world. But to Faith, that was just Faith being Faith. So that's so wild. And maybe the next time Spike and Buffy see each other, there's gonna be a lot of misunderstanding of like, oh, you fucking bitch, you think I forgot about what you told me that night? And Buffy's gonna be like, what? Anyway, love this episode. I really did. I love an episode that gives you a lot to talk about regarding, I mean, characters, but mostly Faith. I love talking about Faith. What if I make another, like, I make this, in case you haven't seen, I make like 2-hour long videos every time I finish a Buffy season, where I talk about the whole season. What if I just make another 2-hour long podcast where I just talk about Faith? Because I did that for season 3. I could do that for season 4 again. Just this one episode for 2 hours. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for this reaction episode. So yeah, it was great. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time. Alright everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to this reaction episode to Buffy. If you would like to watch the next 2 episode reactions as well as Angel watch-alongs, you can do so over at the Patreon. Check out the link in the description below, social media, all sorts of cool stuff that I do. See you guys next time. Take care everybody. Bye-bye.